forgot to do. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Lions Den Podcast, another Monday night football here at the Lions Den Podcast, giving you guys everything Club Leon in English. We have lots to talk about, lots of football. As we mentioned, this month is near the end, but next couple of weeks we'll have lots of matches to talk about. So let's go ahead and dig in. Thank you for everybody watching us via Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope on Twitter. Let us know your thoughts, your opinions. You guys don't have to agree with everything we say. Keep the conversation going if you have your own input on what we're talking about. We're gladly I'm going to show it up so everybody can also see what your thoughts are regarding Club Leon in English. So we'll definitely have lots to talk about regarding CCL, Liga MX, and our upcoming Doble Jornada. So yes, lots of football coming up. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Carlos and Louis, gentlemen, how are we feeling on a Monday Night Football?
Excellent. It's a lot of wins in a row. I don't particularly care how they're coming. I know a lot of people do. I find that silly. I'm quite happy.
We'll get into that.
Definitely. So let's go ahead and start off talking about CCL. Obviously, second leg was at home. Louis did not have to travel all the way that as far as he did the first leg.
So that's for sure.
In Leon. Louis, talk to us a little bit about what the atmosphere was like at home for a CCL.
Pretty disappointing in terms of the response of the home fans. I know it was a Tuesday, pretty late start. Tuesday, 9 p.m. is a kind of a tough sell for some of our fans. I know that, especially, during pandemic times, still, whatever excuses you want to give. But I expected a little bit better turnout, and I was disappointed. I know there are a lot of reasons for it. Some people don't like the way the team is playing. Some people just couldn't get there. Some people think the tickets were too expensive. I mean, there's any kind of reasons you could give. I was a little disappointed. I thought there would be a better turnout for our first home match in CCL. Nothing like LAFC a couple of years ago when it was a packed house and they were fighting for seats. Obviously, that's a higher profile opponent with Carlos Vela and everything than Guastatoya. But I don't know. It was a little disappointing. I don't think that really affected the team's performance. You could argue that it did. Honestly, the most interesting thing that happened was the family of Luis Angel Landin decided to come right into my section and sit a few rows in front of us. I didn't realize. I thought maybe that was just the traveling Guastatoya Porra or something. Then I realized, no, they were all wearing jerseys that said Landin, number 27 on the back. And that it was his family in Mexico that made the trip from Zamora, Michoacan is where he's originally from, to Leon to see the game. And the few fans in my area who caught wind of that were a little bit relentless, a little bit too relentless, throwing insults their way. And it was kind of unpleasant. And the police officers in there trying to keep the peace eventually had to get involved to avoid a brawl. And yeah, that wasn't too much fun. But yeah, that was probably the most eventful takeaway from being in the stands at the stadium, from the fan experience, I would say. Unfortunately so. But he did. I mean, he knew they were there, and he came and gave them a saludo at the end and gave somebody his jersey, I think. And so it was, that was probably the most notable thing about any of it. The game itself was, as we're about to get into, pretty bland. But Luis Landin making his triumphant return to play on Mexican soil for the first time in who knows how long. So, yeah, that was probably the most notable thing.
definitely. I saw that they had interviewed his mom, and she did say like I don't know, like 4 years or something like that. The last time that he was in Mexico or something like that.
Yeah.
So definitely meaningful for the family. So I'm gonna do the starting lineup versus West Atoya. We had mentioned in a previous podcast about how there probably would be a lot of shuffling going on. So we had Kota, we had Hilburon, Kajelmaker. Did I say that right?
Close enough.
Okay.
I swear I hear him pronounce his own name Kagelmacher, like Carlos had originally said,
Yeah.
but everyone in the press and media seems to be calling him Kagelmacher.
Yeah. So
So
that's why I
now
went.
I don't
That's what I
know.
went weird.
Yeah.
Tecillo, Villa, Fidel Ambriz, Colombato, Elias, Omar Fernandez, Federico, sorry, I had a last name. I usually call him Federico, no Martinez. And then Santi Ormeño in the starting lineup. So I guess just give a little overall, we kind of already kind of saw how the game went. Obviously, we wanted, more goals. But all in all, what did you guys think of Leon's performance second leg?
Well, first the
It was
lineup.
exactly
We were
what it needed to be.
we were correct in our prediction about the lineup. We all said that it was going to be shuffled,
Mm-hmm.
and there were a lot of new faces
Yeah.
in there.
But actually the 11 that they put out was almost exactly what we said.
Yeah,
What we
which
predicted.
is funny. I
Yeah.
think the only one we didn't predict was Pedro Hernandez for Oscar Villa. Is that his name?
Yes.
We're talking about Villa?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
defender. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think he's the
Yes.
only one we didn't predict, but everyone else we all thought was gonna get a start. A little disappointed at Ormeño though. Didn't really show up. Didn't show much against this team. I thought it was really a good opportunity for him to score. But again, saw nothing.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity for him to score until they realized that this opposition was not going to provide us any resistance. So there was no reason to force them into a game. I mean, that was my biggest takeaway from the whole thing. There was no need to force them into a game, especially after pretty early opening goal, a nice strike from Elias, a really nice moment. He had a nice moment, obviously, in the first leg of this too. Has yet to score in league play in this season, but he had two nice goals, and this one was a really, really nice strike to frankly, given this opposition, put things out of reach early. And after that, I mean, Guastatoya was still putting a lot of energy into it, but they just didn't. There was no way o sea, no había por dónde hacernos daño. La verdad, there just wasn't. There was no way it was going to do anything. They were going to be able to do anything to us, especially with a 3-goal deficit. And the team responded to that. They took their foot off the gas and made it a really boring game. But that is what the circumstances called for. So it was boring. I mean, it wasn't it was kind of a slog to watch, even though there have been, even among the slogs that there have already been, this was a slog among slogs. It was pretty bad, but it was what it needed to be. It's a marathon, not a sprint. They got a long way to go to win this tournament, and they have league games to play in between. So for me, it was exactly what it needed to be. I know there's plenty of ways to disagree with that, but for me, that was my big takeaway.
Oh boy, big takeaway for me. If I can counter that argument, I think would be just that it seemed very laid back. I think that yes, we did take our foot off the gas pedal, and I think we all knew that Guastatoya was not. Um, they're not gonna play us mano a mano and beat us. First of all, they're 3 goals down, and they're not gonna open up. But the way that we won was not to my liking. I think that for a team that was far superior, we should have controlled the ball better, executed basic passes that we were losing in the midfield. We were giving up opportunities to them that we shouldn't have. Also, had a terrible game. And the few opportunities that we did have, and I'm speaking about Federico, we didn't convert. So I think, yes, we took our foot off the gas pedal. I'm okay with that. But the way that we won was a little disappointing. I didn't think that we played like the superior team. I think that Guastatoya just didn't have anything to compete against us, and that's why we won. But God forbid we play like that against Seattle.
Mhm.
We're gonna end up paying big time.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: people were saying, "God forbid we play that way against Necaxa," and we still beat Necaxa. Like,
But we didn't play the same way though, because I think we came out a
and we're
different
not
team
going to
against
play. We're
Necaxa.
not going to play the same way against Seattle. I mean, the
I hope
benefit
not.
of playing against Seattle is we already know that opponent. We've already beaten that opponent. We already know what it's going to take to beat them. It's pretty much going to be the same team that they have trotting out. Um, so it's a known commodity in an opponent. But I mean, yes, there were poor moments that were like, come on, guys, really.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
mostly what it was possessing the ball in the defensive half and not burning energy unnecessarily. A lo tonto, because we got a lot of games to play. And here's my counter to your counter, Carlos. Look at the performance of every single team between MLS and Liga MX who played CCL and won their tie. And how did they fare over the weekend? The only team out of all of them to win their league match was Leon. And I am completely 100% certain that the way they played in leg two against Guastatoya, taking their foot off the gas, possessing without exerting too much energy, contributed to that. I am 100% convinced.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, there's that saying, ganar y gustar, or ganó gustó, but this time we kind of just ganamos. We didn't really gustamos, not to my liking at least, and
No gustamos ni goleamos.
no
No nos
gustamos ni
ganamos.
goleamos. We just no solo ganamos. Like, it's fine. We got the 3 points. We took care of business. But like I said, I think there's ways to win. If and again, I look back to the Nacho Ambriz team from
Yeah.
2019, where if we were going to win, once we had the lead, we controlled the ball, we played keep away from the opponent, and we knew how to do it to perfection. Now we're not really doing that. I don't know if Holland doesn't like that style, but if we really came out to defend that lead against Guastatoya, we did it in a very poor manner.
It's a different coaching style, it's a different mindset. And frankly, I welcome the change. It's not the prettiest style of play, but we had with Ambriz for 3 years, almost 3 years, el equipo que mejor juega en Mexico. I mean, that trope was thrown out and run into the ground, and it became a cliche. El equipo que mejor juega en Mexico, and we have very little to show in terms of hardware accolades for those 3 years. We have one title. I mean, but to have only one title of any kind out of that entire time is, I'm just going to say, it's very disappointing. I have to look back on that era as being primarily disappointing for what they didn't do more than what they did. And, people can tirarle a Holland all they want, but Ambriz had 2 chances to get out of the first round of CCL, and he couldn't do it. And Holland in his first try did it caminando.
That's true.
They brought.
But I think our opponents were much more difficult
More
than
different.
Guastatoya.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure if
Well-
Ambriz had a shot at Guastatoya, we would have just completely ran through them.
I mean, el hubiera no existe. And
El-
you're right. It will really depend on how he fares in a 2-leg tie against Seattle. I think this first leg in Seattle, which so close to home and I'm not going to be able to go, it's extremely painful. But that aside, that first leg in Seattle is going to be very telling. If they go in there and get a good result, I mean, I think they have a good chance to move on. But my overall point is, they didn't, we had 3 years of playing super bonito and having very little to show for it. Now they're going a different way. They brought in Holland to get results however he can get them. And to his credit, it's not pretty, but he's getting them. And
But go on, finish.
Yeah, but nothing.
No.
Until he doesn't get them, until he doesn't get the results, we have nothing to really criticize him for.
what I'm always thinking is that Leon does not like Leon's style of play is not how we've been getting results. That's just not the identity of the club is just not how they've been playing both games, right? Obviously, I'm not harshly criticizing what happened with Stoya. I do agree with Carlos. They kind of just it was just like, oh, it's Westatoya, we don't have to really put much effort. And I get where you're coming from. Like, we didn't need to go all hardcore, but we at least could have just finished and left, like, feeling good about that game, regardless of whatever the score was. And then with Necaxa, I just didn't see that Leon. Like, I just didn't. So it's like, I get people are comparing him like, oh, so we're just gonna like cruise through, like Tuca in his era, in Tigres, and we're gonna go out La Liguilla, which I know you've mentioned the past podcast, like that's what our game plan should be. I just personally don't like it. I think it's just betraying the style of play of Leon, and I just have not been liking the past two games.
I don't know how many times I can say, de nada sirve jugar bonito y perder. Like, if we were playing super great, if we had funcionamiento super claro and everybody could see what we were going for and what we were playing toward, and still losing games or drawing, it would be people would still be complaining.
I mean, yeah, but like when you think about like, oh, when's the last time we said like everybody has had a great game? I haven't thought
everyone doesn't have to have a great
game.
But it's like it's Cota and Davila.
Davila's leading the team in he's leading the team in assists and goals and yellow cards. But the man's doing everything.
Yeah, my point is we've had this equipazo. We've had this basically this slightly different versions of the same team for a long time now, and we have so little to show for it. I mean, this might be the way to maximize in terms of results, accolades, trophies, which a team this good deserves to have. This might be the way to get it. It's not pretty. You might not like it.
Yeah.
But this
I feel
might be the way.
Like, this is just not the identity of the club. We're not, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't go and say like, oh my God, Tigres. Like, I just don't, they got the results that they needed. They have a massive squad, backing up how much they've spent, but I don't know.
Nobody remembers how you won it. They only remember if you won it.
Yeah, that's true. And to some extent, I do have to say, okay, you know what? I do give credit to Holland because even though we're not playing football, champan, he's getting results. He got the Leagues Cup. He got us out of the first round in CCL. But it's these next two rounds. I mean, if we can make it out of the next round, these are the ones that matter. These are the ones where he's really going to be judged.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If we go up against Seattle and we cannot compete, and if we go in playing the way we have been, and it's not good enough to play a team like that, I will eat my words. But Holland doesn't do it. All he does is continue to callar bocas. That's all he does. He keeps getting the results, and it just makes no sense to me that the harsh criticism that he receives while he's still getting these results that Ambriz frankly could not get. I mean, it's a different style. Would you rather have a clearly defined identity, or would you rather win the game? Like, if you want art, go to a museum. If you want to watch football, then watch for your team to score goals and keep them out. That's what football is. That's my thing. That is my thing here.
Sure, but yeah, I mean, you can win regardless of how you play, but how long can you keep that up?
Like, how long can you? Like, that's going to end up running out.
How many games?
It hasn't run out yet.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what you're saying. I feel like you're content with what it is, and I'm not content how.
Yeah, we got to raise this bar a little.
Yeah, like okay. Yeah, we with Satoya we didn't have to play as much. I just don't like how they ended the game. Personally, I just don't like how they ended the game. Yes, in Necaxa it was 1-0. I still don't like how they managed the game. I mean, I think it's like okay for us to at least say that. But I feel like right now, since it's been enough,
I'm not
you're
so
like
mad
content.
at the Necaxa game though.
Sure, but I'm content with it, Kari, as long as it keeps working. And if you think
back,
but
it's gonna run out, Louis. It's not gonna keep up until like the next 5 games.
We've been saying that since midway through last season when the results were not pretty. Like when we were winning on own goals against Puebla and Cruz Azul and like not generating much going forward, but we were winning those games like this is gonna run out. This is gonna run out. And We made it all the way to a
Well-
final, and now we're into a new season, and it still hasn't run out. It might run out, but
It will
we
run
can't
out. That's
possibly
what
Well,
we
know
did.
when.
Well,
We can't possibly know when.
Under Holland last season, we did have a small peak where we ascended from like 10th place to second place, and we stayed in second place
Yeah.
for like the next 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So we knew what this team was capable of, and then they had that huge dip, and that's when all the criticism started coming. But we knew what this team was capable of, and they haven't gotten back to that peak for
But
whatever
when they
reason.
climbed out of it to get back into third and ultimately finish there, a lot of those games were not pretty. A lot of them were not pretty. And you're like, a lot of people were saying, even we were saying, this is not sustainable. But
we were in a
I
good
mean,
position.
until that is proven, like keep doing what's working. I mean, I just don't. They are not built to go out and seize aggressively control of every game and make it through dos torneos. They're just not built for that.
I'm not asking for aggressively controlling a match. I just want regular
Decent.
control.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
we're
just want
playing against. I mean, no offense to Guasatoy. We're playing some plumbers, Sunday league team, and we can't execute a good, midfield, play. Like we lose the ball, we're turning it over. We can't convert our chances. These are just regular plays that you're supposed to
Yeah.
easily execute, and we're not doing it. It's not. I'm not asking for
Mm.
aggression. I'm not asking
Yeah.
go and score 10 goals. I'm just asking just make a pass, grab the pass if you can. Just maintain possession and look like a professional team.
Not like,
Mm.
oh, it was boring. They're very sloppy, but we got the 1-0. Like, I want to be like, they got the 1-0. They didn't score as much, but they played pretty well, and that's my takeaway from it.
Yeah.
That's not
I
being
don't know,
harsh.
guys.
I feel like
I
you're
think
taking
they
like
just-
I'm being so harsh on it, but I'm
I-
not. I just want at least the minimum expectancy at this point.
We're not out there running our legs into the ground in 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
For me, it's just like they did what they had to do. There was absolutely no way Guastatoya was going to come back from 3-0 in our place. There was just absolutely no way that was going to happen.
But these players are
That
not
was-
saying we need to score more. We just saying we just need to end the game.
No,
on a
I'm
good
not saying
note.
I'm not talking about scoring more. I'm just talking about like they don't have to fight to maintain every ball. They don't have they can get away with a little bit of sloppiness because there's just nothing they can do to hurt us or threaten the result. Sometimes there would be, but in this instance, like they took advantage of an opportunity to play it completely cool. It helped them win. It helped them be the only team in MLS and Liga MX because let's be real, those are the only 2 leagues that can crown a champion in CCL. Out of those 2 leagues, Leon was the only one that still had enough legs to win over the weekend, and I am convinced that was a major factor in that because I watched a lot of the games featuring the other.
Well, I think we're the only team that was able to shuffle our lineup the way that we did because we had such a wide margin of goals. Like we basically shuffled in five players, bench players.
I don't know.
So a lot of our
The big one
starters
that comes to mind for me is Cruz Azul. Yeah, they only had a 1-0 lead against Forge coming home, but they have theoretically a much deeper squad than we do, and they look gassed against Santos at the end there. Gassed. And it cost them. It cost them 3 big points in league that it didn't cost us.
Well, they've done that twice this season already.
I mean, you can talk about the karma and the bad juju surrounding that team and the Cruz Azuleadas and all that stuff, but I'm just looking at the eye test, and they were gassed. Santos also played in CCL, but they were out of that game pretty early. Different story for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's just hope that we come out a lot better against Seattle. We can't come out playing like this at all, because 1, Seattle's a much tougher opponent, and 2, Seattle, we have a target on our back. Seattle's out to get us because of that Leagues Cup final.
Yeah. True. They looked bad against Nashville in the game yesterday. I watched the game. They looked bad. And they're still getting their legs under them. It's still pretty much preseason for them and still will be very early season for them by the time we play. And Nashville is not as good as we are. So we'll preview that later, obviously. But you're right. We cannot play against as we did against Guastatoya, but I'm convinced they will play well enough can play well enough to advance in that series.
Yeah. I think mentally, that's what I'm thinking for Leon. Mentally, now that they made it to the next stage, how they're going to handle, especially being away in that first leg. So we'll definitely get to that when we get to that. We also had already mentioned of the Necaxa game. Carlos, do you want to do your pregame? Let's do it. You're mute.
Muted, Carlos.
There you go.
Okay, let's try this once again. Pre-game news. Angelito Mena was back with the team, traveled to Aguascalientes, and he got some minutes. Nothing really to show for it. I think it was just garbage minutes. They just kind of threw him in there just to get some rhythm. But that's really good news for the team going into CCL and this Doble Jornada. Also, we just talked about it. Seattle Sounders are going to be our opponent in the quarterfinals of the CONCACAF Champions League. So, yeah, I think we'll talk more about that next week or in upcoming pods. But the biggest news, Angel Mena back. ¿Cómo lo vieron?
I mean, right?
Just trying to shake the cobwebs out of the legs. That's all it was.
Cobwebs.
Wow.
You act like he's been like out for like ever, which is it does seem like it.
He's been out for when we depend so much on him to get our attack going, and he misses a few matches. I mean, it does feel like it was out longer than it was. Davila kind of picked up the slack in the meantime.
Davila's been carrying the team. Him and Cota.
Davila scoring a really nice PK if Mena had been on the pitch. If Mena had been on the pitch, it would have been him taking it. So I thought that was notable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I guess any conclusions from that game, really? I know we kind of have mashed both the second leg and some of this Necaxa game in regards to Leo's performance.
Good result. Necaxa has been sneaky better than you'd expect this season, I feel. They got that win against Cruz Azul. I feel like they've had a couple of nice wins. I can't remember exactly. That's the one I mostly remember. But they've been better than you'd expect. And but Leon they do not lose in that stadium, it seems.
Yeah, I wasn't too mad at this game. I felt like Leon in the first half was very composed, and we were able to beat their high press time and time again. And you could just see that the players on this Necaxa team were a little more inspired to play because their coach was playing his first match with this club, Jimmy Lozano. And so you could just see that they were out to impress him or just play with a little more inspiration because of the new coach. That's always how it is in Liga MX anytime you have a new coach. Which
was this his first match?
Knock on wood, because we're going to play Vuse next.
First home match. Mm-hmm. Yeah, normally Leon is the team that you play right before your coach gets fired. Now we're facing two teams in a row. They're going to have new coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I wasn't mad at this game, at the Necaxa game. I thought it was good. I think we did better than I expected. I thought we were going to come out and look weird like we did against Guastatoya, but we didn't. We came out, looked good. We were creating opportunities. Unfortunately, we gave up too many opportunities, and Cota was there to save us. But we got the win. It's 3 points, and we're at what, like 8th, 10th, something like that? 10th? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's higher than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10th.
I think we're 10th.
No, we are in 7th right now.
Oh, shoot.
7th?
Yes.
7th.
Okay.
So I guess we're behind us. Toluca right behind us has a game in hand, but yes, we are in 7th.
I guess we're in okay position then.
7th, 6 points out of first, and only 2 points out of 4th, which is all that really matters.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about the Jornada rundown. There was lots of action. I think I've pretty much saw all the games, if I'm not mistaken. So starting off Friday night, Pachuca 3-1 over Mazatlan. I mean, Almada's kind of beaming with Pachuca at this
Yeah.
point. Pretty
He
good
certainly
squad.
got the last laugh out of that Santos exit.
Which we'll talk about that in the rundown.
Yeah.
But yeah, good matchup Friday night, 3-1. Querétaro versus Toluca rescuing a draw at the very last minute. Then you get
Golazo.
1-1. Did y'all watch any of those on Friday?
I didn't
Yes.
see the Friday games except for as much as I could of Leon.
Sorry, Thursday. They were Thursday games. Sorry. Yeah. Those two
Yeah,
were
Thursday.
Thursday. My bad. Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Leon on Friday. Two more games that Friday was the Juarez versus Tigres. I did not watch that game because it was at the same time as the Xolos and Atlas. I watched Xolos Atlas, which Xolos beat Atlas 2-0. Very fun to watch.
They did. I don't know if that's more Atlas is not as good as we think, or Xolos is better than we think.
Xolos is better. They're improving, and I'm liking them so far. So.
Okay.
Saturday, Monterrey losing to San Luis 2-0, which we all were asking, and I bet shout out to Eddie who's been struggling with Vasco Aguirre. I mean, every time I log into Twitter, he's always going at that man. Which the next day we ended up finding out that Vasco is no longer Monterrey's coach. So,
Man, just think about his price point compared to Holland's, or him or Solari. But they shelled out to bring those guys in.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, this weekend alone, go on.
Yeah, and they've been much more of a disappointment so far. So I mean, things can always. You might not like what Holland's doing, but things can always be worse.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, Rayados, they're a very powerful team. They have so many egos on that team. Like I feel like those egos clash. And I don't think it's the coaches. I think it's the egos on that team. You put so many big name players on one team, they're all going to be fighting for who scores, who shoots penalties, who does this, who does that, and at the end of the day, it makes the coach look bad.
Yeah,
and the team doesn't perform well. I mean, yeah.
I don't. Maybe Turco Mohamed. He's been the only one who's kind of been able to keep that team in line.
Yeah.
In this modern era. But then then the same thing happens to him and he gets fired again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah, you're right, Carlos. Some of those teams, no matter who they bring in, I mean, for different reasons, but I feel like the team that should not be named also has that problem. I mean, they can say fuera Leaño, fuera Tena, fuera Boy, whoever. It's been 4 straight coaches. They've been fuera, And Cardoso, that was the other one. Fuera Cardoso. None of these guys have any shot with that team. They could bring in Pep Guardiola, and he wouldn't be able to do anything with that team.
I mean, I think the team is a good team. They just haven't been able to win. I mean, they're a good team. I mean, they have good players. They have so much potential. Right at this point in time, the situation is what it is. So. Sorry, Lou, we have to mention the Larca boys with the comeback.
Oh, yeah. In that context, feel free to mention
them. 3-2. Yes. I mean, this weekend, there was a lot of coaches who Saturday night, I was like, so what's going to happen? Who's going to go first? Vasco, Leaño, Solari.
Who's next?
Yeah, that was a good match.
Who's next?
Pumas and whoa, I thought you meant who's next.
No, I mean who's next to whose head is next?
Solari.
Solari, really?
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. So.
Okay.
I mean, look, before we move on to that, Pumas. Well, not really. Pumas and America 0-0. I mean, not much going on.
Not much.
Even though Pumas did have a red card, so left with 10 men. The Chivas and Puebla. You have a 2-0 lead. How do you let that slip? I mean, shout out to all the guys from the Chivas del Norte, which they were really, really heated up. I mean, I would too. Shoot, you have a comeback like that. It's just, what do you do?
I mean, Puebla's a good team. They're not in first place for nothing. They're a good team, and if you're gonna defend a 2-0 lead, you better know who you're playing against, because Puebla's been doing really well. They're the surprise team of the tournament, I think, this year and maybe even last year.
Yeah. I mean, this happens. They don't say 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in the game for no reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Very misleading.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easily turn. And this is the great definition. I mean, that's what happened. So it's very, I was very entertained and very happy with the end results of that game. Obviously ending our Sunday night football, Cruz Azul and versus Santos. We're definitely mentioning that. After the CCL Actuación de Santos, Caixinha was done with the team. So the intermediate coach Eduardo Fentanes took over. So definitely a much needed win that Sunday night. Which if you guys didn't watch it, I mean it was a good game.
It was a good game.
2-1. 2-1.
Yeah.
Good game.
2-1. Yeah.
2-1. So yeah, that is the jornada rundown. Obviously, we'll have Doble Jornada, like our title says, tomorrow. Toluca Xolos, Puebla Juárez, América de Querétaro, and our beloved León versus Monterrey. At the same time, Mazatlán versus Necaxa. Wednesday, Atlas Pachuca. Wednesday also Tigres Cruz Azul, San Luis Chivas, Santos Pumas to end that Wednesday night. So lots of football the next 2 days. So I'll be madness all over again. Obviously, we mentioned Vasco Aguirre gone, so we kind of catch Monterrey at a very vulnerable time. But, gentlemen, how are we feeling looking into tomorrow night's match?
Oh, I don't want to jinx it, but we are known as the.
Levanta Muertos.
Yeah.
I wasn't
You
gonna
have
say
this
it.
thing that's like Levanta Muertos or something.
That's what we're known as, and historically speaking, man, we're not very good at this, but we are at home, right? We're at home.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I hope for the best. For the best.
No, I think this is one occasion where they'll, for one thing, it's a doble jornada. León had a short trip to Aguascalientes, and they had an extra day off compared to Monterrey as well.
Yeah.
So they played in Aguascalientes on Friday night. I'm sure they drove back into León right after the match, and then had the whole weekend to rest and a full extra day off. Than Monterrey, who played on Saturday. No.
Yes, they play Saturday. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Friday night to Tuesday, short trip as compared to Saturday, longer trip, and only 2 days off. I think that could be a factor as well. And I think this is one time where it's always a concern, but I think we can. The Levanta Muertos narrative doesn't have to take the forefront necessarily.
Yeah.
So, knowing that we play Juárez, are we looking at as the strongest starting 11 tomorrow, and then more of a?
Yes, I think so. More of a relaxed or shuffled starting 11 on Friday, just because it's Juárez. Nothing against them, but they're not.
They did give Tigres a bit of a scare.
Yeah, but Tigres always does that at the end of the match. They always give up 2 or 3 goals, or end up giving up the lead, or end up drawing. But no, Juárez. Juárez, I don't think are as big of a threat as star-studded Monterrey. I think we'll need everything against Monterrey, and why not just, kick the horse while it's down, while it's dead, or what's the saying?
Something like that.
Kick the horse while it's dead. Beat a dead horse.
Dead horse.
Yeah. Let's just beat the dead horse.
Disclaimer: we do not hurt animals here.
But, no, I agree. Also, just because it's a home game, you gotta win your home games.
Yeah.
If you go out and if you go out on Friday in Juárez and play to a scoreless draw, as they've done a couple times up there, that's okay as long as you get the points at home.
Yeah, I'd go with the same starting 11 that we did for Necaxa, except I think Mena starts in place of Elias.
If he doesn't start on Tuesday, he could start on Friday.
Yeah, but I think that's maybe the one change that I would see.
Okay, not bad. So defense, looking the same as Necaxa then?
Yeah, Mosque, Barre, Tecillo, and Osby.
Osby, can we just put Villa in there? Actually, Vinavi is a center back.
Are you giving up on your beloved Osby now, Cuddy?
He's not my beloved Osby. Okay,
I
if
mean-
anything, he's our beloved Osby. Okay.
No, he had an impressive game against Necaxa.
It's just he picks and chooses, and it's just
Yeah,
frustrating.
he's really
'cause
inconsistent.
If
He's
he was
really inconsistent.
consistent,
I think
we
he
would
got
be
the.
like, okay.
I think he
but-
got the message though. I think that's why he came out extra aggressive against Necaxa because he got the message that some of the fans weren't having it with his previous 2 matches.
Well, and it's not just that he's inconsistent. He doesn't always
He's a
pick the right
liability.
moments.
I've
He
said
doesn't
that.
pick the right moments to to stay back and mark,
Mhm.
or get into the attack. Like he doesn't always know when to do which.
So
He's
who
just
would you put?
I have said so
Decio.
many times on here that I think we're best with Decio at left back,
Decio? Okay.
But-
Mhm.
and then you can shuffle around from there.
Use Gary and Barre in the
Yeah,
middle.
That is
That
most people-
or Barreiro and Mosquera, and I like Gilburon. He came out nice. We
yeah.
gotta
He
give
doesn't
that
bring
man.
much. He doesn't bring much into the attack, but he's solid.
Yes,
on
he
defense,
does.
and
I thought he was gonna score, Louis.
Eh.
Against Guastatoya?
Yes. Unfortunately, my tweet did not come true because I said Gilburon's gonna score tonight. But I mean, he always puts 100%. I mean, look at Osby with his consistency. Then you see a Gilburon who's hungry whenever actually he's on the field. He shows out. I mean,
Hungry, but he also tries not to do anything dumb. He's very grounded in his play. I would say.
Yeah.
Tiburon. Mhm.
Yeah, I'd want to see him get a few more minutes. He's one that I think we're going to need.
even if it's not tomorrow, then Friday.
Yeah, Juarez would be a nice one. Yeah.
So, because I mean, I think we've mentioned how we've liked Mosquera adding into the attack and how he's been just a surprise. Okay, so Chapito starts tomorrow.
Capo, Colombato, and Meneses. Mena for me.
Okay.
I think he's ready to go. And Davila. Right? Is that it?
So benching.
Colombato did not start against Necaxa.
He did not.
No, so it was Omar, Montes, and Jefecito. So
Yeah.
would you just take out Omar and just put
Colombato. Wait, well,
Montes and then Colombato and Jefecito?
yeah. Colombato Jefecito as recovery man.
And then Montes behind Davila.
Yeah.
Okay. That
That's
sounds
solid.
good to me.
That's a solid starting 11.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do our prediction time for. I guess do you want to do both since we already kind of talked about Juarez? I mean,
Let's do it.
Sure.
let's do it. Prediction.
Prediction time.
Prediction time. Louis, are you making both games this week?
No, I can't make it to Juarez. It's another Friday night. I got another concert.
Okay.
So this is 2 straight away matches. That will then be 3 straight away matches if you count the first leg in Seattle that I, as of now, am not planning to be able to attend. Which is that's been a long time since I've been able to make 3 in a row. Not since the pandemic, since the closed door games, where I haven't been able to make it to. That many in a row does not make me happy. I'll be there tomorrow here at home against Monterrey, but I can't make it. I can't make it on Friday to Juarez, unfortunately. My next away game will be Mazatlan on the 18th.
Okay.
At least I will be able to go to that one. That's a nice one to go to.
Because don't start itching on Friday.
Yeah. I want to make that Juarez trip. It's a fun trip. Juarez is an underrated city, in my opinion. Gets a lot of bad press, but there are a lot worse places in Mexico than Ciudad Juarez.
All right, enough said. Okay, Luis, give us your prediction for tomorrow night, and then go ahead with the Juarez one.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I think we get another clean sheet. I think it's going to be a 2-0. León wins at home. Doble jornada. 1 extra day of rest. who knows how Monterrey's even going to try to play? I don't even think. I mean, they've hired Vuse, but I don't expect him to be there yet. So I think they'll be with their interim manager. I forget his name. But yeah, who knows how they're going to come out? I don't know. I think I see this as an opportunity to get a nice multiple goal win at home and get another 3 big points, inch closer to those top 4 spots. And then Juarez, that's going to be tougher. I think we'll be lucky to get out of there with like maybe a 2-1. 2-1. Yeah, depends on how well they rotate and how much energy they have left in those legs. It's going to be an ongoing topic the entire season, at least until CCL is over.
Okay, both wins, 2-0 and 2-1. Carlos, your prediction?
I also predict 2 wins. I think tomorrow we can probably get away with a 2-1 win at home. I think, Funes Mori is always a nightmare against us, always happens to score against us for some reason. So I think we'll get out of there with a 2-1 win. Before I go on, does Campbell get booed or not?
Nah.
No?
I don't
think so.
I don't hate that man. I just don't.
No?
You know?
Okay.
Actually,
So
I
maybe
changed
a
my
nice
mind.
round of applause.
I love him.
I will not boo him.
Okay.
But just how on edge our fans are right now, I'll bet they will.
They probably will.
They probably
Yeah.
will, but not us. We would not boo.
I don't
him.
agree with it, and I will not boo him. But
Yeah.
I'll bet they will.
Good. And then against Juarez, I'm going to go with the 1-0. I'm just going to say that we're going to get out of there 1-0 win. It's not going to be the most exciting games. I think we're going to have a shuffled rotation lineup again, a lot of rotations. And then in the second half, I think we'll have some of the usual starters come in and finish off the game. But I'm going to go with the 1-0 against Juarez. Not an exciting match. Viernes Botanero.
I was gonna say it's Viernes Botanero, Carlos.
It is, but it's Juarez. Nobody really watches Juarez. 1-0, 2-1 and 1-0.
2-1 and 1-0. Okay, I'm going with the 2-1 tomorrow. Especially since we're at home, I feel confident. If we lose tomorrow, I'm gonna be really pissed, Louis. If we lose tomorrow,
Uh-oh.
You and me both.
And Friday, I'm gonna go with the 3-1.
Whoa.
All right.
I mean, wouldn't it be good to, leave off on a good note on a Friday? We have Tuesday. After that, we have that following Tuesday away at Seattle Sounders. Then we're
3-1
home versus Tigres.
Oh, I wouldn't put it past them. I remember we got that 4-1 a couple years ago, right before COVID. I believe the last game with fans before COVID.
Yeah.
4-1.
Is that when
was
Armando Leon scored?
Yeah. Still, that was one of my favorite games. That's on my list. Like
With those ugly yellow
might make my top 10.
highlighter shirts.
Yeah, but it might make my list of top 10 games.
Yeah.
That was a really fun one.
Nice.
Yeah. The next couple of games all the way to the second leg are, we can't discredit, Juarez. It's a must-win game. So, I don't need excuses for that game, but the rest should be pretty interesting. So we'll definitely be back next week to talk about the Doble Jornada as well as CCL, as it's been haunting Leon, but we hope that will be the case this time around.
Are both of these games must win? Or are we okay with 4 points? Are we okay with 3 points? What do you guys think?
If we beat Monterrey at home, I'm okay with the draw against Juarez.
I agree.
I mean, I guess at the end, if we draw against Monterrey and beat Juarez, it's the same end result. But
yeah, if we lose tomorrow and win, and we have to win Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I agree.
Like at this point, yes, I would be mad if we lose tomorrow, especially, current Monterrey situation, was being at home. I think we have that advantage. But
how do you guys feel if we draw both?
Not great.
Are we doing 0-0 draws or?
Well, yeah, 0-0, and then maybe a 1-1.
No, I would say 4 points out of these two matches should be the bare minimum goal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good.
4 points is the goal. Okay. So 6 winning both is already
Is dynamite.
overachieving. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I would venture a guess that if we win both, we will find ourselves in the top 4.
Oh yeah.
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 By the end of the jornada, what is that? Ocho? No, is it
no,
9 already?
Yeah.
It is no. Tomorrow's 8.
Yeah,
Tomorrow's
but I
8,
mean
Juarez is
by
9.
the end of the second one of the week. Yeah, that will be
Yeah.
another 9 already. Wow.
Yeah.
We're already at the halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. But you know how Doble Jornada treats Leon, so that's why I'm always like. But yeah, I think.
Well, look at how many curses Holland has already broken. This is just another one.
He just needs to wear the red sweater tomorrow because it's
right, and they need to wear the Lucha Libre jerseys again.
Yes. So shout out to Romo from Tldp. He did say about Olan that Leon has not lost while he's been wearing that red sweater.
And they even mentioned the Torrente shirt, harkening back to our our history of being a team of Kabbalahs.
Also, yes, that Lucha Libre shirt they have not lost. So
it looks like we are wearing them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I imagine. I mean, that season with the Torrente shirt, they also wore that gray and white jersey.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
They wore that through the entire streak and the entire playoff run.
Huh.
Yeah.
Man. So superstitious.
Very, but I mean, it's worked so far. We'll come back next week. Be like, oh, it was all a lie.
No, it was all a fact. It's working.
Yeah, it is working. So I was like, oh, because I mentioned Tom was like, he wears that red sweater a lot, because some coaches have like they wear something so much, like, so like he's always because Leaño's always suited up with the same blue suit. When Caixinha was out there, he's always wearing a blue sweater with blue slacks in blue. So you have those coaches that just wear the same thing that you just have to pay attention. So I was
but Holland's wearing that sweater. It's been pretty warm here lately too.
Yes.
And he wore it against Necaxa, who has literally the same colors he was wearing.
Yeah.
Yes, and then
shout out to Chris King who pointed that out. Chris King on Twitter, he pointed that out.
I'm wearing a dress shirt under a sweater. I'm like, aren't you hot? I'm like, could I at least wear green? But maybe red is just his favorite color. So
yeah,
there you go. But okay, guys, anything else before we leave?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay.
I think we covered everything.
Covered everything from CCL last weekend's jornada and also previewing these upcoming 2 Doble Jornada matches. Thank you for everybody joining us via Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Let us know what your thoughts are if you enjoyed this video or not. If you guys are at work for any reason and you're missing out these 2 games, don't forget to follow at Club Leon EN to keep you updated with everything that's going on in the live match. Don't forget to follow Louis as you'll see him tomorrow night. If you guys want to take a view of how the stadium looks like tomorrow, check out his video tomorrow. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll definitely be back next week as we'll definitely talk about this Doble Jornada rundown as well as our next level into CCL. So thank you guys. And hope you guys have a good night.